Hello, I'm Lindy Royer, founder of Park Meadows Pilates and Physical Therapy in Lone Tree, Colorado, and creator of the Body Truth program. Today I want to talk to you specifically about Body Truth for golf. Right now it's springtime in North America and lots of other parts of the world, and ideally we should be getting ready right now for our summer activities, because when we're prepared for these activities ahead of time, we're going to be way more successful, we'll have a lot more enjoyment, and we're going to be at much less of a risk to have an injury during the season. We're far more likely also to last the whole season and have fun while we're doing it. I know that's important to me, and it probably is to you too. So I want to specifically address the question of hips. When you watch videos, read magazines, take lessons from your pro, there's a lot of talk about hip turn and hip rotation and the hips in general in golf. It's also something that we may talk about when we're talking about just the address portion of golf. So where you are at address before you even begin your backswing or your takeaway. So do you think it would be helpful to know exactly what your golf pro is talking about when your golf pro refers to the hips? Are you thinking of exactly the same body part as your golf pro when you're both talking about hips? If we're all on the same page about what this means, you're going to get a lot more out of your lessons or the articles that you're reading or the instructional videos that you're watching online or on TV, and that way you're going to be a lot more successful about movement. So as a movement educator and a physical therapist and a Pilates instructor, I find that getting our terms meshed, if you will, is something that's really helpful for me and my clients and my patients as we enter into some kind of a movement program. So do me a favor, take your index fingers and just point to where you think your hips are on your own body. So when you're thinking about your hips, or when your golf pro is talking to you about your hips in terms of the hip turn, where exactly is that on your body? So go ahead and just take a moment. So is it here? Is it out there? Is it back there? Is it down here maybe? Where exactly are your hips? And if you're not exactly sure, then what are you really getting out of those lessons that you've been paying for if you don't exactly know where your hips are? Or maybe you're not exactly sure what your golf pro is talking about when your golf pro is referring to your hips. So here's something that I want you to take away from this short video. When I talk about hips, I like to refer to the joint where the femur bone, the leg bone, meets the pelvis, which is this big round thing that we have at the top of our legs and the base of our spine. So I'm just going to grab something here. This is a partial body. This is a pelvis with some little teeny legs attached and a spine. And right here is where the hip joint actually is. So this is a long leg bone. If it were a full leg, it would look like this. It sort of sits like that. So here is the actual hip joint. This is the pelvis. So when I refer to hips with any of my clients, I'm talking about where the leg bone meets the pelvis. This is where the actual ball and socket joint of the hip is located. This other part, which is up here and out there, is the pelvis. So next time you take a lesson, ask your golf pro, do you want me to turn my pelvis or do you want me to turn my hip joint? Now here's a hint. You're actually turning both in the golf swing, and it makes a really big difference where this movement is coming from. So let me just show you on myself, and you're going to follow along with me where my hips are. So what I want you to do is you're going to take your thumbs and you're going to take them to the outside of the upper leg. So there's a kind of a bumpy bone out there. So notice I'm fairly low. And then you're going to take your index fingers across to where you find kind of a divot or a crease. Right close to the center of your body, actually. It's not that far out, maybe a couple of inches out. And just kind of bend your legs up. If you're sitting in your chair, you can do the same thing. And you'll find that there's kind of a divot place right there if you just bring your knees up, kind of like you're marching up and down. That is where your hip joint is located. Up here, out there, down in the back, that's all pelvis. So in the golf swing, we turn the pelvis and we also rotate the hip joint. Those are two completely different things. Last little tip for you. When you're at address, the pelvis is moving forward over the legs to bend the hip joint. So right at that place that we just found on you is where the movement of the pelvis happens to bring us into that nice neutral spine position that we want at address. I hope this has been helpful to you. I look forward to giving you lots more tips as we get ready for summer in Colorado. Thank you for watching. Come see us at Park Meadows Pilates and Physical Therapy if you would like more information. 303-649-2165.